All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I am your beautiful host, Just Mo speaking, and this is the Retrain Your Brain Effect. We are being sponsored by Dear Me by Mo Martin. What to tell yourself when you feel stuck. This book is so good for decluttering your mind, organizing your thoughts so that you can get a clear cut path to the goals that you want to attain. Today's guest, welcome back, Miss Larin.
Thank you.
I didn't have my applause. Oh, I didn't have it queued up.
It's okay. It's all good. We did our own applause.
Yeah, we did our own applause. I hope you guys at home did it too. Okay, so we so enjoyed you and your story
Thank you.
last week. It was so beautiful.
Thank you.
It was so,
Yeah,
so beautiful and
the
such a
journey.
miraculous story. For those of you that missed it, I need you to go back, listen to the call part one. We're not going to get too much into it because we're going to the other side of the story now. We're digging into Larin's mindset, okay? Her mindset of becoming a parent overnight. Typically, we get like a good, at least minimum 8 to 9 months
Right,
of preparation.
right.
And you, my dear, had what, a day and a half?
A day and a half, yes. Yeah, a day and a half.
So we
I
got some
was
questions.
sure. Yeah, I did not know that while you're pregnant, it also prepares you for sleepless nights. Did you know? I didn't know that. So
you you
there.
you just connected some dots for me just now because yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I didn't have that preparation. Like that preparation alone, I would have taken. So that's like a huge. That was a huge thing that I missed out on because you don't realize. I didn't know. I'll say I didn't know the sleepless nights that you would have. You're kind of like delirious because you're not sleeping a lot. But when you're pregnant, your body is being prepared for that time. So it was like a huge, probably jerk to my system now, looking back and thinking about that to my emotional, mental, and physical well being.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
probably, yeah, that was probably a hit now that I think of it, because I didn't have just that preparation.
Yeah,
So,
and just that alone,
yeah,
because
yeah, just that alone.
even with the prep, you still not ready. You still
Right.
not ready. You still grumpy, hair all over the place.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yeah. But I
So,
didn't know that.
oh wow, you just like really connected a dot. I mean, it's been some time for me. So I mean,
Right.
for
I know.
new moms, who've already just had babies or still in that childbearing stage, I guess y'all get it. But yeah, you're right. I used to be so uncomfortable flipping and
'Cause
fussing and
yeah.
oh my goodness.
So yeah, I didn't know that. I'm sure there's other things you're being prepared for
Yeah,
too during
you know
that
what? And
time.
I'm gonna ask you something because this is gonna be really interesting. So before I started having kids, my parents used to make fun of me for being such a heavy sleeper. Like I could sleep. It doesn't matter what was going on. It's time for me to sleep. I'm sleeping.
Yep.
But when I became a mother, like the littlest, tiniest, I mean, like I could hear
You're
my
like,
child sniffling in the other room in my sleep, and I'm up like this. Has that happened for you?
yes, for sure. Because you're like, are they alive? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or any move they, yeah. That is kind of crazy that we can wake up to this, and he's not even in our room. They don't even have to be in your
No,
room. Yeah,
the
yeah.
tiniest thing. So I call it like your super mom powers get activated. Like the moment you become a mom, you get just this, I don't know, superpowers. It's like I can
You
hear my kid.
do. You really do. I know. And I think that's just what's so miraculous about life and love and just like how we are as humans. It doesn't matter how that comes to you. You just that maternal, instinct is there for
Yes.
most people. And yeah, I remember crying a lot and I don't remember the hormone that women get, but I probably had that too, just from becoming a mother.
Estrogen?
No,
Okay.
I have estrogen. Yeah.
I'm not gonna, that was my best guess. I'm not going to
Okay.
say.
Yeah. It's like something else, something. But I was like, why am I crying so much? Like, why am I emotional?
Oh,
So
yes. Okay.
yeah, there's a hormone that. Yeah. So yeah,
And
it is kind of amazing.
that is so amazing because you didn't naturally give birth, but somehow all of that still takes
Yep.
place within
Yep.
you.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Look at how
Isn't
God
that?
designed us, huh?
I know. Well, they say that in some countries that women who can't are having problems or complications with having natural birth and getting pregnant. I'll say getting pregnant. That they if they take care, they like take care of a baby in the village or something, and then that helps them because it produces those hormones and helps them to then
What?
yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's
It is
really
kind of
cool.
cool. It's kind of crazy how
Yeah.
you're, or you hear those stories how people have adopted because they years they couldn't get pregnant and then they adopt and then like a year later they end up being able
Yes.
to get pregnant.
Yes, and I know
Yes.
people like that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
has happened too.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing how God has built us and designed us.
Yep.
I
Me
mean,
too.
we couldn't have done that on our own.
No.
We could not have done that on our
Miracles
own.
on top of miracles. Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
really is.
It's pretty amazing.
So I want to add, so I want to get into this because this conversation is really going to be about your mindset and just getting yourself prepared. And you're not a single mom, so I know when I'm saying you, please know that I am also including your other you, which is your husband.
Thank you. Yeah.
How did you strengthen yourself in this area? How, like, because you got the call and then literally like a day or two later, your house is now, hosting a child. So
Yeah.
how did you get yourself
I mean,
strengthened to become a
it's
mom?
sure. It's complex for me. When you foster parenting is complex because you're taking care of someone else's child and you're taking care of someone else's child for a period of time. Because the idea is so that that child, the idea of it is that they are reunited at some point with their family or biological parents. And you know that you're pouring into this child and you're raising them and you're doing everything that you can and giving them love so that they're just being well taken care of. So
Right.
for me, I almost saw it as like a duty.
Mm.
I know that that's probably what a mom should probably see it as a biological mom, but I really saw it like this is not my baby. This is someone else's baby that's in my care. And it is my duty to make sure that this baby is being taken care of to the best of this baby's ability. So it was, so I didn't like immediately need to strengthen necessarily anything because I already am a very high executor by nature. And so it was very easy for me to almost detach emotionally in a sense and like just take care. This is what I'm doing.
Oh,
I'm executing, I'm taking care of. That
okay.
shifts though. That shifted. I mean, when a baby's in your care for a long time, then that emotional connection builds. You
Mm-hmm.
bond. There is my company, my university, my calls it bonding leave now. It's not called maternity leave. It's called bonding leave.
Oh,
So yeah, so you go out on bonding leave, which I like, right? You bond with the baby,
yes.
and that changes. And so immediately it was like, okay, this is just my duty. I can function in this role as like doing because this is something that I'm really strong at anyway. I'm going to
Okay.
YouTube everything I don't know. I'm going to like,
Right.
but then that shifts and then there is this bonding time and then you're like, this is more than a duty. This is like so much deeper than that. And you're like, we're attached to each other. We're bonding. And that could be with I mean, this was an infant. He was 7, 8 days, 9 days, 10 days
Oh,
old, but I'm sure that could shift even with a teenager in your house, right? Like,
right.
we're attaching, we're becoming a family, even if it is for temporary. And so I had to kind of shift my mindset and strengthen um, by, I don't even know. Like talking
Well,
to other moms was
well,
a huge help.
let me ask you this, because you mentioned shifting from it being a duty and a responsibility to now it's turning into a bond and a relationship. Was that difficult for you? Did you try to hold back on that piece, knowing that this child was only with you temporarily?
Yeah, for sure. Just whether you want to or not, and you might be unconscious of doing this, but when you have someone in your home, especially a baby, thinking that they'll be here temporarily, you almost don't want to attach. Because you're like, oh, if I attach, but then it's like, well, why let someone in your home and then not attach, right? Because if
Yeah.
nothing else, these foster children need the attachment,
Mm-hmm.
because of the trauma that they have. They need that. So it could be a very unconscious thing, uh, but at some point, you can't help it.
No, love takes over.
Absolutely, absolutely,
That thing is
absolutely.
strong. Yeah.
100%. It is very strong, especially with an infant that needs you for every single
Mm.
thing. It's different. I'm sure if you have like a 10-year-old or a teenager in your home who's been in other foster homes, who can talk back, who talk back, not in like a negative way, but like, I want to go hang out with my friends, or tell you what they want to do. They already had a life kind of prior to you. That's very different. But this is an infant that needs you for everything, and you're the only parent they know.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
Uh okay. So, if you can name three, if there's more than three, then that's fine, but minimum three. Three things
Mm-hmm.
that you had to like train yourself to remember
Mm-hmm.
to be successful at being a mom, or feel like you're being successful at being a mom.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is going to be so interesting to hear coming from you, because again, I don't know how many more times we're going to stress this out in the conversation, but again, your life literally changed like in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So what were some things that you had to keep telling Larin and remembering so that you felt like you were doing a good job?
Um. Not only felt like I was doing a good job, but also felt like this is okay, right? Like a lot of people, they plan to have children. They plan for their homes to look like a baby home. They plan
Right.
I'm like, why does my living room look like this? So not only did I have to train myself to feel like, okay, I'm being successful, but that this is okay, that this transition is okay, and
Mm,
that this is okay. I mean, I think the attachment piece is a really, really strong, a strong component to that. It is okay to attach. I think you should, no matter, even if it's for a short period of time. It's what the child needs, and it's best for the home, I think.
mhm.
Um, Totally leaning on other moms. I didn't real. I work with a lot of moms, and I'm fortunate to work with moms who have little children. So I did not realize it's almost like a secret society that no one tells you about. It
That's
really
so funny.
is. It really is. It's a whole new world. The mom world is a whole new world that
It
you're not
is.
in. It
It
really
is.
is. So
That's
entering
funny.
that world and being vulnerable in that world, and actually and being honest, um, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
It feels good, right? There's so many common experiences that we share.
Yeah.
So that definitely is a big one. For me, just remind, like, I mean, obviously lots of prayer,
Mhm.
reading, but reminding myself that this change is okay, that this change is okay.
Yeah.
And that there are seasons that we go through, and we're in this, that I had to just, because it's hard when you're taking care of an infant and you didn't really have preparation for it. So
Right.
just having to also remind yourself, like, this is a season, they grow very quickly. because that could be, I mean, I know that we deal with in this country postpartum depression. There are so many things that moms can experience during that time. I don't know if I experienced that, but it's really tough, and no one tells you how tough it is. I heard one girl say to me, "Oh, it's so fun," and I was like, I would never describe that as fun, and I don't know if I would tell anybody it was fun, but okay. So just like trying to remember that this is a season, that this is a stage that will, you know, that helps. That definitely helps. From 0 to like 18 months, it does go by very quickly, but it can be hard.
Yeah.
So many things.
And it's also like a scary time too, especially when you're a first time parent.
Yeah.
Because like you said, am I doing this right? And
Yeah.
you know, that doesn't look right. It isn't supposed to be. So definitely reaching out to people
Yeah.
and asking for help, because we've all been there. And if there's a mom that makes you feel bad for coming to ask them, don't ever go to them again.
Yeah, no, I agree with that
Because
100%.
because we've all been there. When I tell you, like, no one, you think you can read as many books as you want, you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but until you are holding that little baby or you have
Yes.
that child in your house,
Yes.
you are
It's
not 100% confident in yourself.
right. I mean, someone said it's trial and error. It's really
It
trial and
so
error,
is.
because you're gonna try, and there's gonna be an error, and you're like, okay, we won't try that again, you know.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of trial and error. But yes, I agree with you 100%.
And listen, there are some days where you knock it out the park, and there are some days where you go to bed and you're like, okay, everyone's still alive. I did it.
Yep.
And it's okay
Yep.
to have those days.
Yep.
The
Yep.
end
Yep.
goal, keep the child alive. That is the end goal.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. There's a doctor that told my girlfriend that crying has never killed a child.
No,
So let him cry.
let him
It's
cry.
okay.
It's
It's all right.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No one's ever
Yeah.
died from crying. You know,
Listen,
little things like little nuggets like that really do help. They really do.
oh yeah, of course, because especially when you are that type, that personality type where you feel like it has to be perfect, it has to be done at the highest level. And it's like there are some days where look, mm-mm.
Right. It's
It's just
not going to be.
mm-mm. It's just not gonna happen. So just let it
Yeah.
go and it's okay. Is the
Yeah.
child clean? Did they eat and they're still breathing?
Yeah.
Then you hit it.
Exactly.
You're good.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because yeah, and you never know whether biological or non. You can't you don't know what how your child is going to be.
Yeah.
You never ever know what you're
No.
going to get in a
Yeah.
sense. So, and that's whether you biologically produce that baby or not. It does not mean that baby's going to be like you. You just don't know. So
You
you
don't
do have
know.
to. You have no clue.
You
That is
don't
a
know, so
big
you go
deal.
with the flow.
Yes. Yes.
And the thing, and another thing, being a parent, I'm sure you're learning this as well, or especially when my little my little baby celebrity, I like to call him,
Mhm.
when he starts able to really vocalize and use his words, but they adore us. Like
Yes.
we are so hard on ourselves because, you know, whatever the reason is that just kind of pushes us over the edge that day and makes us
Yes.
feel like we didn't do a good job. But they freaking adore us. Like
They really do. It's like the definition of unconditional love, right?
yeah.
It's like,
Like you know, like I could think I was the crappiest mom that day, and my kids are like drawing me pictures and giving me hugs, and I'm the best mom, and I'm like, I'm the best mom. Are you what? You
yep.
know?
Yep.
So yeah, don't ever feel like you are failing at being a mom.
That is such a great point. That's such a great point. You're right. And I will also just add this component too. If you're in any type of partnership, marriage, relationship, it obviously shifts because you've now there's someone that has entered that relationship that was not there, and it's going to shift. And that's also something that I tried to be mindful of. It was tough Because you're like, I'm not, this is just different. Like, we can't just up and go like we used to. Or,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, it could be something as small as like, I can't even sleep in the bed right now with you because I've got to sleep in the guest room in the where the crib is. Like, little things like that can really shift. And so people typically understand that. I know it's hard for people to be that honest and vocal and vulnerable with sometimes their partnerships and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a season too, and you get past that as well. But that's something that would transition very, like, that was a huge transition for my husband and I.
And that's a really good conversation to have, even before considering having a child or fostering a child, is talking about those changes and what will be the plan of action. And honestly, letting your partner know how it will make you feel. Like, don't just yes them and be like, oh, yeah, 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 it's going to be fine. And then the baby gets there and it's not fine, you know?
Right, right,
So
right.
definitely communicating those things. Did you guys do, I know you were going through the classes and everything like that. So were those conversations had about the big changes that would take place?
No.
Oh, oh, the plot thickens.
You're so silly.
What?
No, I mean, no, I didn't.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. It might have just been our own naivety or ignorance. I don't know. Like, you mean, like, did we have conversations about having how our relationship will change when we have a foster child?
Yes, all the things that would
No,
change and how you like how things were going to be altered. What would you do differently?
I know. Maybe it was good we didn't have it. We just had to go with the flow.
Wow.
Yep,
Now
yep.
that is interesting, and I'm surprised that they didn't bring this up in the classes at all.
They no, not that I can remember. Um, No, I feel like the classes were more focused on the child and the foster care system, and learning the foster care system and learning about the children in the foster care system. They definitely speak about how we want what's best for what will work for your household,
Okay.
right? Like, definitely being mindful of what works for your household.
Okay.
If you can do special needs, do special needs. If you can't, don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do teenagers, don't take in teenagers, because if you already have like 5 teenagers or something. So they definitely talk about being what's best for your household, being mindful of that, because that's what is going to be best for the child.
Mm.
Because it's very traumatic for children to move from, every time a child moves from a house to a house, that's trauma that they
Oh
experience.
yeah.
So it is very important to be mindful of what's best for your household. So we talked about that. What would work for our household? What
Okay.
could we do? But we never really delve into like how that would shift our relationship.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
But
so
yeah.
I feel like this is a good place to take a quick break. So when we come back,
Yes.
I want us to talk just a little bit. I'm not trying to get all up in your business, but I want to talk about some of the changes that took place with you guys and like how you altered your lifestyle a little bit because you guys were living free and clear before. So
Okay.
I,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some of the just a couple of things and some tips and some things that you guys have learned because now you've had your baby for over a year now.
15 months. Yep. Over a year. Uh
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So I'm sure there's some things that have changed and you guys have
huh.
navigated and learned so I'd like to talk a little bit more about that when we come back from the break. Yes? Is
Okay.
that good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we will be right back after a word from our sponsor. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Okay, so Larin, that marriage life.
Yeah.
So I don't. You taught us a term last.
Think.
I was gonna say last season, last episode. I'm already in season 2.
I love it.
Last episode, the
Yep.
dink
The
life.
dink life. Yep.
The dink life went down the drain. Your
Yes.
beautiful baby came home. And so along with that dink life, that's date nights, that's traveling, that's, you know, walking around the house however you feel like walking around the house, all that stuff is gone out the window. So over this past year, what are some things that have changed because now you both have become parents, and how have you guys kind of supplemented the changes?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really wild year, to say the least,
Uh-huh.
because we're in a pandemic.
Uh-huh.
So that was a huge shift. I will say that I mean, 100% the lack of sleep, right? I just remember that very vividly.
You
Um,
still on that you still on that loss of sleep.
Yes, the loss of sleep. I also, my husband and I used to joke, but we never used your turn. So that saying your turn
Uh-huh.
so much until we had the baby, because we're like, no, it's
Yes.
your turn. No, it's your turn. Your turn. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. We always would say that to each other. I
Uh-huh.
have to say that we definitely both delve into, and this was a
Mhm.
partnership for sure. Um,
Yeah.
and we treated parenting as a partnership.
Yeah.
But it, the pandemic really shifted things. Right before we went into shelter in place, we started looking for people. There was actually an au pair in the area that was looking for extra hours on weekends and in the
Okay.
evenings, and we said, you know what, we could get someone to come watch the baby so we can get our lives back, and at least have a date night. All of that does change, like you just said, the date nights, the intimacy,
Yeah.
there's that shifts also. And then we went to shelter in place and we couldn't hire her, but how you parent is a big thing too,
Mm.
because how you may think that you and your spouse or partner are going to parent the same way, and you
Uh-huh.
realize very quickly that you don't.
No. Yeah,
I mean,
you're
because
right.
even you and your siblings kind of
Who
maybe don't
raised
parent
you?
them. You're right, right, exactly. Were you raised in a jungle? Right? Like what happened here?
Right.
Yes, 100%. So
Yeah.
that you're just like, wow. So you have to find common ground, and that is even with like a 3 month. It doesn't even have to be an older child. It is
Mm.
just so I think that stood out very huge to me. That we parent, we have common ground on some things, but
What's what's something that you guys didn't quite see eye to eye at first becoming new parents?
the sleep training,
Oh, okay.
that
So
was really tough for me to go through with.
okay, so
But
can you go into that a little bit? What do you mean by sleep training?
yeah, so we had friends come over. Of course, it always starts with someone else who did something, and then you're comparing yourself, right? We
Yeah.
had friends come over, and they had a 3 month old, and we never heard that 3 month old in the night ever.
Mm.
And like they spent the night, a couple of nights, and so when we had our baby, I just I didn't think about this when the 3 month old was at my house. And then you become a parent and you're like, wait a second, I remember when you had a 3 month old at my house last year, and your
Right.
3 month old never made a sound, like not even in the
Yeah.
day or night, really, but definitely not in the nighttime.
Uh-huh.
And so we were talking to the dad, like, how come your baby didn't cry or anything at night? He said, we sleep trained the baby. We're like, what? Sleep train?
What is
We
this?
didn't know it.
Yeah.
Right. Had no idea. So of course we're like looking up. And basically, we looked up different ways you can sleep train, whether you let the baby cry it out. It's basically teaching the baby how to soothe themselves and how to really push through and sleep through the
Mm.
night, right? And
Okay.
so you can either let them cry it out, or you go in every 10 minutes and you say, you're okay, so that they know that they're not alone, that dad do come. And you just keep saying you're okay. You don't pull them out the crib. There's just so many different techniques,
Okay.
which some people, I will say, a lot of times it's easier to just maybe put the baby in the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um and everyone has different techniques. Some people do that, the co-sleeping. We kind of didn't want to do the co-sleeping, but it was really tough for me to let the baby cry it out. We didn't
Ah.
let him. Well, we let him. we did the going back in saying, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. You just have to keep getting up in the middle of the night.
Right.
But that was hard. Sometimes, you let them cry for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and then you go in because you have to make it longer. So first
Right.
5 minutes, then 10 minutes, and 15. So that was like a really big, that was hard. That was hard for me, not hard for my husband at all. It worked. I have to say it worked. It definitely worked. And
Uh-huh.
he was able to sleep by himself
Oh,
and
that's
on his
good.
own. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it works. I
So it
mean,
did work, but at first it was just like
it
you were
was hard. It
not
took
all the
about a
way
week.
for it, and and hubby was he was like, yeah, let him
Oh,
cry.
yes, it's so hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But my mom said she did it with me. She said it took me 3 days, and
Oh,
it took our baby about 5 to 7 days, and then he was good.
oh,
So it does work.
see,
Yeah, but it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
love that. So okay, so now it's pandemic, right?
yeah.
There's
Pandemic.
all kinds of nonsense happening like every 2 weeks or every month there's a new crazy theme. I know I saw a meme that said something about like at the end of each month there should be an Oompa Loompa that comes out and sings a song about what we should have learned that month. And it was
Oh my
never
God.
like that was the most accurate meme about 2020 I've ever saw in my life.
Yes.
But okay, so we are in like this whole new way of living globally,
Mhm.
internationally, nationally, and then also in your own home, you're in this whole new way of living on top of, the whole
Yeah.
2020 fiasco. What were you doing or have been doing to like just continue self-care for yourself, because you being a woman without children, you're able to go to the spa. I'm only imagining what this would be like. I don't know if this
Yeah,
is what you
yeah,
drink
yeah.
champagne at
Yeah.
12 noon and meet up with your girlfriends and all this
Right.
stuff, to now mom duties are in full effect.
Yep.
But what do you do to maintain that balance in your life?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that during the shelter in place, I mean, it's really hard during a pandemic.
Mm.
During the shelter in place, it was super hard. One thing that we did was we have this patio in the back, and it just looked like, oh, I don't even know what it looked like. It looked like tree, I don't know, like a forest. And we said, you know what, if we're gonna be home, we should at least have that was some self-care. Like, let's make the patio a sitting area. Let's go out there, let's clean it up, pull the weeds, and maybe hang some lights or do something. That was during the shelter in place. It was really hard to shelter in place and care for yourself when you have a baby and you have to work. That was
Mm.
just tough. There was nowhere to go. So the only thing that the only outlet that was for good for us was like, okay, we have this outdoor space that we have never used as many years as we've been here.
Wow,
Let's actually make use of this. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, we didn't need,
that's
because you didn't need
something.
to go on the patio. We're just like,
Oh
oh,
no,
whatever.
you guys were traveling. You were
Yeah.
dinking it up.
Yeah, and we live in California, so there's hikes and parks.
Yeah.
We didn't pay attention to that patio. Well, that all stopped, and it was like, well, we got this patio space,
So how
so
about
let's
that
buy
patio?
some.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's buy some chairs. So I mean, little things like that.
Sorry.
I know
Like,
but that was self care for us, and I tell that
yeah.
story because there may be small things. I know people cleaned out and they decluttered, and and I did some of that too, and creating like a little area that you maybe in your home that you never paid attention to, and created like that as a reading space for yourself. So
Yeah.
it's just we just had to get creative. And we're fortunate to have a little bit of an outdoor patio space that I know some people don't have. But I think that, I'm trying to think of other ways that you can self care. But once we got out of lockdown, I did try to start doing walking the baby to school, getting fresh air. That really helped. I mean, I don't, I'm I am not the person that started getting my nails done and going to the salon. I used to, but
Hmm.
now that we're in the pandemic, I'm just like really cautious about that.
Glue
So
ons, Walgreens.
yes, I noticed your nails today. I'm like, I need those. I'm
I
gonna go to Walgreens.
finally got to sit here and glue my nails on. And let me
And they're
tell you,
so nice.
I have never been more happier.
They're so nice. Oh my gosh, they look good. I'm about to go to Walgreens when we get off
Walgreens,
of here.
ladies, hit up your Walgreens. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, eating out. Like
Yeah.
I did take out, not having to cook. So just
Mm.
trying to find also Zoom calls. I know that people were tired of Zoom. I was, but I started connecting with friends. I mean, even doing this podcast with you is a great connection. So,
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
yeah. So like, I was just thinking of and I know us moms, it's hard. It's really hard to find those, even if you're not a mom. I was talking to women who are not mothers. It's just still hard
Mm.
to during this pandemic and during this time to find things to do that
Yeah. But
that fill your soul.
I like what you're telling us, because sometimes we hear of self care and we think that it has to be so extravagant or this big thing. And just kind of like looking around and finding just little things that will make you feel happy or take a couple of things off your list for the day. Like you don't feel
Mhm.
like cooking dinner, don't cook dinner. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
house will survive. Everyone will be okay. I've
yeah,
had plenty of nights where it was like peanut butter and jelly and chocolate milk. And look at, I made a little song, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter
yeah.
jelly and chocolate milk.
Exactly.
And the kids are excited about it. And
There you
everybody
go.
goes to bed with a full belly.
Yep.
And I was able to take a break.
I love peanut butter and jelly and chocolate milk. Actually, yeah.
Make
I
it into
mean,
a song, make a little dance, and
yep.
everybody's happy.
It's the little things. One
Little
of my
things,
friends
yeah.
shared with me that she just started wearing matching pajamas and made her happy. And
Little
that's
things,
little
yeah.
things, how sometimes we'll throw on like a t-shirt. I mean, I know
Mm-hmm.
somebody's like, who doesn't wear matching? I don't always wear, but just making sure, what? I want to wear a matching pajama set to go to bed and feel pretty.
Yeah,
I don't want to just throw on a t-shirt and some shorts. So
yeah.
small things like that. And that really helped for her.
Finding a new
Um,
soap or a new candle, that helps me because I love
yes.
scents. And
Yes.
so I bought a new body bath or Bath and Body's little, I'm dropping names, they need to pay me.
Yes.
Bath and Body little body wash, and man, I thought I was on vacation somewhere. Like it was just like the little tiny things.
Little
So
things. Yep.
yeah,
Or getting in
ladies.
the car and driving
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah. So yes, those do help, and hopefully we will be able to hopefully get back to some type of
At some point.
some point.
And going back to your point, to encourage you, it's temporary, so baby, can I say, what are we saying that we can call him? Baby hen?
Yeah, but I love when you said celebrity baby. That's so cute
He
too.
is. He is my
Oh, baby
celebrity baby.
hen. Yes.
But he look, in the next 6 months, he's gonna be doing more things and getting older and bigger. So you will get that time back.
Oh, for
Definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's just a season. It's
Yeah.
just,
I
yeah.
love
And
that
it
you
goes
said
by
that.
fast.
It is
Yeah.
just a season. So all those mommies out there, it's just a season. And before you know it, they're going to be big and not want anything to do with you. They're going to be in their rooms.
Mhm.
And you're going to have all
Yep.
the time in the world.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So, Lauren, thank you so much. I love that you came on here and shared this story. This was so needed.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun.
Yeah, this was
It's like
really
girls
neat. And
talk.
yeah, and I exactly, and I enjoyed it. And my kids are they're older now, but I still enjoyed having this mommy connection and
Oh,
talking
thank
about all of
you.
that. Yeah, it's such a great reminder. Ladies, we are doing the very best that we can, and your very best is more than enough. So,
Yes, yes, that's
yeah,
right.
I want to before we end, I'm not sure if you have any resources to share locally because I know you're over there in beautiful California. But
Yep.
nationally, before you share the local ones nationally, if anyone is interested in becoming a foster parent, I have two websites for you. The first one is for the National Foster Parent Association. It's NFPA. nfpaonline.org. nfpaonline.org. That's for the National Foster Parent Association. And then the other website is childwelfare.gov. Um, these two sites are, I quickly peruse them, but they are chock full of information. So if you have no clue of how to start this process, what's needed for a background check, how to even start the process in your state, I encourage you to look up those two websites. And then, Larin, if you have anything locally over
Yeah.
in Cali.
Yeah, so I'm in the Bay Area, and
Whoop,
I've yes, work very closely with Help One Child. So that's Help One Child, and it's literally help one child, like just one. If you just do one, and
whoop.
so they're not national, but they're local. I do encourage people to look in their local communities. And then I also encourage people to look on social media. First of all, you can find me, Larin Smith, Larin Smith, on Facebook and Instagram. Happy to always provide any information that I can on foster care and foster parenting. I think it's very rewarding. Oh, and I have a quote that I want to read too. But there's this woman that I follow. She's called Real Life Foster Mom, and she is on Facebook and Instagram. And I think she's pretty inspirational. So I would just encourage people also to look on social media. There's a lot of platforms and a lot of people advocating. Um, and I read this the other day. Your greatest contribution to the kingdom of God may not be something you do, but someone you raise.
Wow.
And I thought that,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
I
I thought
love
that,
that.
yeah, I thought that was pretty powerful. Your greatest contribution to the kingdom of God may not be something you do, but someone you raise. So, I
Ah,
really,
that's making me want to
yes.
tear up. Oh, I love that so very much.
I love that too. See, this is why we're friends.
Ah,
Yeah, I love that too. And yes, and there's a lot. There's another foster agency that I follow on Instagram that I can't find right now, but there's so much out there, and there's so many children, and so I just
yes.
think that love conquers all, and
You know what? It sure does.
it
And
really does.
it does. And God is love. And He placed that inside of all of us, the ability to love and the capability to be loved. So if you go into this mindset with just, look, I just want to love on a child, you already are 99.9% of the way there. You've already got what it takes.
Yes,
That's what I
yes.
that's what I believe.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, the
And
rest of it comes along.
yes, yep, yep, yep. So thank you.
Oh, I love that quote. Can you say it one more time? Oh, it was making my
Yes,
heart feel so warm and fuzzy. I love
it's so good. I'm going to post it too, but it says, your greatest contribution to the kingdom of God may not be something you do, but someone you raise.
Ah, mommies, be encouraged. That was
Yeah,
so beautiful. I
be
love that.
encouraged.
Lauren, thank you so very much again. This is not the
Yeah.
last time we're going to see you. I say this to all my guests because I've got plans.
Okay.
I've got more plans. So we
I
will
like
be hearing
plans.
from you again.
Okay.
And my listeners, I encourage you. I always tell you guys to follow me, follow the Retrain Your Brain Effect, follow. But I strongly encourage you to follow Larin. She can be found on Facebook and Instagram again. I'm going to repeat her information: Larin Smith, Larin Smith. Please follow her. Not only is she a beautiful mommy, but she is a fashionista. So if you
Thank you.
want some ideas, I'm not going to put you on blast with your clothes today, even though I didn't say
Yeah.
it. I didn't make you stand up, but I am loving the
Right.
sweater. I'm
Oh,
loving the
thank
look. But
you.
I'm going to leave you alone because I harassed you on the last episode.
No, you didn't. No, you did not.
But you guys follow this beautiful, beautiful person. She is just a light. And I'm so glad that we are friends. I'm so glad that I can call you my
Thank
friend.
you.
Well, thank you so very much. This concludes our episode. And if you're listening on the podcast, please hang on for just a moment with Just Mo. See you guys. Bye, everyone.